Hello, darlings. Welcome, welcome. Today, the topic is why problems do not actually improve you. So, in Tuesday's video, I touched on one of the topics I touched on is why problems are not actually problems, and the fact that problems are actually there to facilitate our evolution. Problems are there to facilitate us in now thinking in a different way from what we have been thinking. That is what evolution is. You have a certain way of being, and in order to evolve, you become the next level of being. Okay, so problems are meant to facilitate our evolution, but they do not improve who we actually are. Why is this? Well, because who we actually are is already who we are. We have everything within us, all the capabilities, everything that's required to be able to solve that problem. The only thing is we now have to access it. The problem is there to trigger us to access that which is already within us, bring it forth to facilitate our evolution. Okay, so it can't improve you if you already are everything already that you would ever need to be in this life, everything that you already are in this life and beyond it. Okay, so the trick is in how do you actually go about accessing that is already within you, because you haven't accessed you have not accessed it before. And again, as Albert Einstein said, you will not solve the problem with the same thinking that created it. Okay, so we have problems. The problems show themselves up and everyone has got problems. I don't know anyone who doesn't have some sort of problem going on in your life. And if you don't have any problems, and my goodness, DM me. I would love to hear how that is possible. I'm really curious to know how that is possible. Because in all aspects of our lives, there is some problem that we are dealing with. Your car broke down, you got something dealing with at home, you've got some problem at work. There's always a problem somewhere. The problems are not problems. They are there to facilitate our evolution. They do not improve you because you already are everything that you could ever possibly need to be in this life. And that is also why we are already worthy of every single thing that you could possibly think that you would want to have, but you might feel that you're not worthy of having. We definitely are worthy of it already. It's a process to actually grasping that and internalizing it, but we are already worthy of having everything that you could possibly imagine. So, how do you actually go about accessing the solution to the problems without the drama, the stress, the worry, everything else that comes with that? Because that's what we're used to. A problem is something that's out of our comfort zone. It's out of the ordinary. It's not part of our day-to-day. You get up and you're going to be dealing with problems. Now, that's what you get up thinking that you're going to be dealing with. You get up thinking you're either going to work or you're going to be doing whatever you do on a daily basis. And then problems show them face up and you're like, oh, why do I have to deal with this now? Why is this happening to me? And. But when we approach problems with, okay, there's a problem. So what is this problem actually here to facilitate me with? What does this problem actually require from me right now so that it's no longer a problem? So it prompts you to start thinking differently. Okay, so this is a whole way of being, and that is exactly what I study, the work I teach, everything that I apply in my own life is how do we engage in life in such a way that it's not always, oh my goodness, this is happening to me, and it's a stressful situation, and you're worried and you can't sleep, and because now our nervous system has been triggered in such a way, and it's running with us. Because controlling the mind takes more skill than we can give ourselves credit for. We are very, 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 very used to something happens. We've got a pattern instilled in how we respond to when something happens, and that is our go-to. Whether it's stress, whether it's worry, whether it's anger, whether it's whatever emotions come up for you. And you can think about it. When you have a problem that comes up for you, what is your go-to reaction? Because that go-to reaction is there for a reason. It's your go-to reaction because it's a pattern that's installed. It's what you are operating from, one of the patterns that you're operating from. And again, if you're interested in finding out how to actually go about reprogramming your patterns, reprogramming the set point that you're operating from, so that you can now start evolving in a more graceful manner and a more easier, and I'm not saying it's easy, I'm saying it's easier because you're going to have to be dealing with whatever's going to be coming up for you. Okay, and that's going to bring up emotions, and that's going to bring up things that you're going to have to be dealing with. But it is easier as opposed to, what am I going to do now? How am I going to go about this? And feeling lost and confused and not knowing how to deal with the problem, how to deal with whatever you are feeling and you're going through. That just most of the time just seems like this rock wall, and you don't know how to cross over it. So if you are interested in finding out and claiming your free strategy session on how do you actually go about installing a new pattern in your life, because remember, again, your subconscious mind is what controls 90 to 95% of what you are doing on a day-to-day basis, meaning that about 5% of what you are doing is a conscious action. So if you are running your life based on programming, based on patterns that are already instilled, it's inevitable that you are going to be creating more of what you are or have been creating, because that is a pattern that is instilled. You can experiment with it, don't do anything, don't change anything, and see how often are you creating more of the same thing. How many years have you been living the same life already? How many years have you been dealing with the same thing? And it might not necessarily be that you've been dealing with the same people in the problems, but the core of the problems that you've been dealing with are generally the same. So reflect on it for yourself and just get curious about it. And then if you're someone who is interested in finding out how do I actually go about constructively changing the patterns that I'm operating, changing this automatic responses that I have in life, book a chat with me, claim your free strategy session. It's not to say that you're going to have to now say let's move on to the next stage of what this work actually involves with. It's just even awareness. The strategy call itself is a level of gaining awareness. So there's benefit from it already. But if you're not ready for that, ponder on it. Consider what has been repeating itself in your life. It's the same thing like weight loss. There's a set point that people are used to, and you might lose weight, a few pounds or kgs, depending on what country you're living in, and then you gain it back again because there's something that triggered you to go and change your habits, but it's not sustainable because you still have a foundation of patterns that you're operating from. Your subconscious mind is so powerful. And again, it's something that's already installed it's set by the age of 7. So that is a long time. Let's say you're 30 years old now. You've been operating from that pattern for years, for decades. It's not going to just up and disappear. It's not going to just, I woke up today and I realized that I don't want to be dealing with this anymore. Knowing something and actually knowing it is two different things. Knowing it and being it is not the same thing. Knowing, I knew I should have done better because I knew better. No, just because you knew better doesn't mean you could have done better. Knowing and being, so that you can actually be and do what is required from the person who actually knows, deep internally knows, it's a very different thing from just knowing it. Head knowing it versus knowing it. Okay, so if you've been beating yourself about something because, I should have done better because I knew better. No, darling, you knew it, but you didn't actually know it. Okay, it's a process to actually know it. Okay, that is it from me today. And again, if you want to book a chat with me, please do so in the link below or in the link in the emails. Not in the email, in the link in this video. There's a link attached to the video, and there's a link in the description of the video. Okay, darlings, I'll be seeing you next time. Bye bye.